Ever get that feeling? Like when you find an old book covered in dust, hidden away somewhere, and you just know it's got to be full of secrets.
Oh, yeah.
That's this text.
Right.
MusSAtur. Myth and mystery.
Right.
Ancient monsters.
Right.
Secret societies. Maybe even ties to some real-life occult figures.
Absolutely. It's got that vibe.
So get ready, because this deep dive,
Yeah.
gonna get interesting.
This one, it's like the further down you go, the more you realize just how much is really there.
Oh, tell me about it. We're
Yeah.
starting with this creature, the MusSAtur. The ancient Sumerian texts, they describe it as this multi-headed serpent, venomous, destructive,
Oh, yeah.
like a real bringer of chaos, right?
Right.
And I mean, we've all heard about monster serpents in mythology before, but this one feels different somehow.
And I think what's so interesting about it is that it's not just contained to Mesopotamia. This isn't just some local legend. This is something that pops up across cultures and across time periods. Egypt, China, you even see echoes of this in South America. It really makes you wonder, is this something deeper, something about the human experience that makes this so universal, like a primal fear?
Okay, see, now that already has, like, chills going down my spine.
Yeah.
But it gets even crazier.
Oh, yeah.
Because this MusSAtur, it isn't just some big, scary serpent, right?
Right.
The text describes it as, get this, a soul parasite.
Yeah.
And I am dying to know more about that.
Well, the text gets very specific about what it means by that. It talks about these subtle energy bodies that we all have.
Okay.
Almost like an aura or a life force, this energy that essentially makes you, you. And the MusSAtur, it seems to be able to latch onto these energy bodies.
So it's not just happy enough with, like, poisoning you with venom. Now it's trying to, like, feed off your energy too.
Basically. And what's really interesting and kind of disturbing is what it seems to feed on.
Oh, what's that?
Negativity. The more fear, the more anger, the more despair that a person has, the stronger the MusSAtur becomes. Almost like it's this parasite of the soul itself.
No, that is a chilling thought. Makes you wonder, right? Like, you ever been around somebody that just seems drawn to drama?
Sure, yeah.
Like they almost need chaos in their lives to function?
Yeah.
Maybe this ancient text is onto something here. Maybe it's not entirely their fault. Maybe there's something a little more sinister going on. And speaking of being drawn to drama, right? This text we're looking at, it dives into this whole story about King Gudea. He's desperate, right? Wants to save his people. And then, enter this mysterious group that claims they can control the MusSAtur.
Yeah, it sounds like kind of a recipe for disaster, doesn't it?
A little bit. I mean, come on. So what happens? Does the king regret this whole deal?
Oh, absolutely. The text uses this story to show you how clever the MusSAtur is, how manipulative. King Gudea, he thinks he's making this deal, he's going to save everyone, but really he's playing right into this thing's hands.
So it's not just some, like, mindless beast then, right?
Sure. No, this is intelligent. It learns every time it encounters someone, every time it does something new, and it knows how to use any opportunity it can get.
Man, that is creepy. So if this thing is that good at, like, pulling strings, staying hidden, how would we even know it was behind something in, our world?
That's the question, isn't it? And it gets even, I don't know, more interesting, I guess, maybe a little scary too.
How so?
This MusSAtur, it doesn't just want to be in the shadows. It wants to be seen. It wants to be admired, maybe even worshipped.
Hold on, I thought we were talking about a giant multi-headed snake monster. How's that going to work?
And this is where it gets really unsettling. See, the text, it describes what it calls the MusSAtur's assumed form. And get this, it's not a monster at all.
Okay, now you have to tell me more.
All right, so picture this. A man, maybe about 35, long dark hair. He just radiates serenity, wisdom. He's just magnetic.
Wait a minute. That sounds familiar. That sounds like almost every description of, like, every spiritual leader, like, ever. Are you telling me there's a chance that these people, these influential people throughout history, were actually...
What if they were influenced by something way older and way more sinister than they could ever even imagine?
Okay, now that is a scary thought.
Yeah.
So, like, if these people, if they were influenced by this MusSAtur, what does that mean for what they taught people? Were they really enlightened, or were they just, puppets for this thing?
And the text, it doesn't make it easy for us. It doesn't give us the answers. And I think that's what makes it so interesting. It makes you really think about what you think you know and look beyond what's right in front of you. What if there are things happening, forces at play that we can't even begin to understand?
So we've got this thing, right? This creature that can shapeshift. It can manipulate people from the shadows. It's got this whole, I don't know, vibe about it. But if this whole guru thing is just a disguise, what does the real MusSAtur look like? So we've got this thing, right? This creature that can shapeshift, it can manipulate people from the shadows. It's got this whole, I don't know, vibe about it. But if this whole guru thing is just a disguise, what does the real MusSAtur look like?
Well, you know, if that nice guru guy is supposed to, like, make you feel safe, well, the real deal. Yeah, that's going to do the opposite.
So what are we talking about here? Paint me a picture.
It's like the worst monster mashup ever. The text, it goes into detail about this chimera, this
Thing.
huge, terrifying.
Okay.
It's got this thick body, like a snake, but massive. I'm talking like 3 feet around, maybe bigger. And the scales, they're iridescent.
Okay, that's already pretty creepy, but there's got to be more.
Yeah, way more. So remember how we were talking about those energy bodies, the MusSAtur? It's got these tendrils, like roots all tangled up. It uses them to latch onto its victims, to drain them.
And all those heads from those Sumerian texts, they're still there.
Definitely 7 necks, all moving around, and each one ends in this huge mouth full of teeth, razor sharp. The text makes it sound like this whirlwind of teeth and tentacles, just pure evil. Oh, and did I mention the slime?
There's slime too.
Yeah, dripping from its body. Acidic. Burns whatever it touches.
Okay, now I'm properly terrified. So this thing, it shapeshifts, it's manipulative, it feeds off all the bad stuff in the world. Can we even stop it? What are we supposed to do?
Well, there might be something. The text mentions a weapon, the UGZIZU. It's this old Assyrian adze, basically a big axe. And they say it's the only thing that can actually kill a MusSAtur.
So there's hope then, even if it's a long shot. But
Yeah.
something like that, an artifact that old, it's probably long gone, right?
Probably. But I think the point is, even though this thing is powerful, ancient, it's not invincible, we can fight it. Literally, maybe, but also just by knowing about it.
And that's a good point.
Right.
If this deep dive taught us anything, it's that knowledge is power. We know what it really is. We know what it pretends to be. We even know its weakness, maybe. That gives us a chance.
Right. The MusSAtur, it could be a real monster, or maybe it's just a metaphor, right? Either way, it gets stronger when we're in the dark, when we don't know. By talking about it, by shedding some light on it, maybe we take away some of its power.
So as we come to the end of, well, this deep dive into ancient texts and hidden things, let's remember what we've learned here. Be careful of anyone who says they have all the answers. Be careful of the things you want, especially if they seem too easy. And most importantly, keep asking questions. Because when it comes to the monsters out there, the ones we can see and the ones we can't, knowledge is the best weapon we have.